Hello, welcome back to CinemaBurger, where I bring you movie reviews from a different perspective. It's been a long time since Release the Snyder Cut started trending online, and we're finally here. The Snyder Cut of Justice League has been released on HBO Max, and it's 4 hours long. And is it better? We'll find out. So the story behind the Snyder Cut, of course, is that Zack Snyder had directed Justice League and had to leave due to family concerns, and Joss Whedon was brought in to finish the movie. Now, he did make some changes, but what came out wasn't really what was Zack Snyder's vision, and it didn't do that well. Now, Zack Snyder had basically his uncut movie and all the footage done, and it was sitting on a shelf for years. And when HBO Max came out, they decided to release the movie, let Zack Snyder finish what he did, because he didn't have a lot more to do on it, and release it. Now, it's done very well, and people want to restore the Snyderverse, including many of the actors and stuff. Now, Zack Snyder didn't get any money for finishing the Snyder Cut, but he got full creative control. And he had a 5-movie plan originally, which included Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and 3 Justice League movies. So with 3 of his 5 movies technically out, they should let him finish it. HBO Max wants to do it, but Warner Brothers doesn't. So we'll see, because the Snyder Cut has been doing very well. Now let's start with the movie. This will contain spoilers, so just be prepared. So we start at the beginning as the movie and the credits start, and we still see the fight with Doomsday at the end of Batman vs. Superman. And when Superman sacrificed himself, his scream of pain echoes throughout, and we see scenes of like Darkseid and Steppenwolf hear it. We hear the Amazons and the Atlanteans hear it as well. So now that Superman is dead, other enemies can come and attack Earth. Now, Superman's scream is the thing that wakes the 3 mother boxes on Earth and attracts Steppenwolf to come back to Earth to find them and bring them back to Darkseid. Now, that's better than the theatrical version where Batman finds a parademon in Gotham City, and when it explodes, you see the images of mother boxes. I'm going to try not to reference the theatrical cut of Justice League a lot, maybe here or there, because other people have done it before. I'm just going to talk about what makes the Snyder Cut better. Now we cut to the Wonder Woman scene where she stops the bank heist. Now this is a slightly extended scene, as a lot of other scenes that are already in the movie are extended. Some things are different, of course, but this one is one for the worse. Now, these people are trying to blow up a bank or something, and Wonder Woman's there to stop them. Now, they extend this scene by having Wonder Woman, like, dodge bullets and, like, use super speed to, like, deflect things, and this CG looks terrible. This is probably the worst scene in the movie, in my opinion, because it just looks really cheesy and rushed, and I don't know, that was about it in terms of, like, what I hated about it. Now we cut to the mother box in Themyscira is awakening, and Steppenwolf comes to Earth, and he looks a lot better. He has more detail on his face. He has, like, the spiky suit on him, and he goes to attack the Amazonians to get the first mother box. Now, this is basically the same scene as in the theatrical cut, but the first Steppenwolf looks a lot better, and 2, they allude to that Steppenwolf is trying to get back in Darkseid's good graces because he did something bad, so he has to conquer 50,000 planets for Darkseid. And he always communicates with Desaad, one of Darkseid's disciples, to let him know his progress. So already Steppenwolf has more of a character. He has more facial expression. He's still voiced by the same person. Now, the scene is extended by a couple minutes, but it's that little additions to this and many other scenes that really they make you audience care about what's happening, because in the original things were rushed and Steppenwolf didn't really have a backstory or a reason for doing things except to just take over the world. But Steppenwolf attacks the Amazonians, they fight back, there's like slow motion. Now, everyone complains about Zack Snyder's slow motion, but he knows how to use slow motion. It's well done here. There's Amazonians fighting on horses, they're in the chamber with the mother box, and the Amazonians shoot arrows at Steppenwolf, and like they sacrifice themselves to close off the chamber so we can't get out. And Steppenwolf even knocks like the whole chamber in the ocean, and it's a really well done scene. Like I said, it's almost the same as the original scene, except they just add on a little bit more, give it a little more depth and context, I feel, and it makes it so much better. Now also, the movie is divided into like chapters or parts. It'll say part 1, like it's still like a regular movie, but it's so you can like take a bathroom break, get snacks, but there's like 6 parts to the movie, so it helps know the context of what's happening. Now, Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman, works in like artifact restoration. Now, the way she finds out about all the mother boxes and things like that is there's like a archaeological dig, and they find information about these past like civilizations that worshipped like Darkseid in them because they've come to Earth before. And then she tells Batman, and Batman decided to talk about getting a team together to stop what's coming, because after they defeated Superman, like Batman feels bad now. Now, what the theatrical cut did was, what Joss Whedon did was add more like silly jokes to the movie, like this takes out some of it. Now, of course, there was a criticism from Man of Steel and Batman v Superman that it was too dark and gritty, so they wanted to make it a little lighthearted. But throughout this Snyder cut, Zack Snyder does that without having to resort to like too many stupid jokes. Like some of the lines that he says in the theatrical cut are really bad, but it does have a more lighter tone than the previous movies without trying too hard. So Diana explains the past about all the armies of Earth uniting against Darkseid. You see the ship come, Darkseid comes out and attacks. Now, Darkseid is looking for the anti-life equation so he can like control everything and make the universe in his image. But apparently he forgot that it was on Earth. So you see the Greek gods fighting. You see the Atlanteans before they were sent underwater. You see the armies of man. There's a Green Lantern here or there fighting. And this scene like showcases the Greek gods fighting Darkseid's armies and everything like that. So it shows like a group of 4 to 5 types of people with different abilities fought back against Darkseid and his army, so that's what they need again now, things like that. Because you'll get an Amazonian, an Atlantean, not a Green Lantern, but you'll have a Kryptonian, and then you have the Flash and Cyborg. Now, speaking of the Flash and Cyborg, this movie really gives them so much more character development, especially Cyborg, because he had basically none in theatrical cut. They really explore the relationship between Silas Stone, his father. They show Victor Stone like arguing with his family a lot and playing football because he was going to get a football scholarship. They show how he was created while Silas Stone was working on the mother box. Makes them so much more important. So now after, in the past, when everyone defeats Darkseid, they decide to split up the 3 mother boxes, because Darkseid wanted to terraform Earth into his apocalypse-like planet. Now we're about, let's say, an hour or 45 minutes into the movie, and we get introduced to Barry Allen. He's in Central City. And there's a truck about to crash. He's getting a job, trying to get a job at a pet store because he wants to get a job as a detective because he majored in criminology so he can get his father out of prison because he was wrongfully imprisoned for killing his mother. We know that story. And trying to get a job at a pet shop, and this truck is about to crash into who is Iris West, who we haven't seen in the DCEU yet. She's played by Kiersey Clemons, and he kind of talks to her as she's leaving the pet shop, and as he sees the truck driver is eating a hamburger, he drops it so he's not looking, and he's about to hit a hot dog cart, and it's about to crash into Iris West. So Barry Allen, still played by Ezra Miller, he, looking out the window, he vibrates fast enough, he touches the glass window, he breaks it, he runs out to save Iris, of course, and he, while saving Iris, it's all slow motion, it looks really cool. He also grabs a hot dog and puts it in his pocket because there's like a hot dog floating in front of Iris West's face. So after all that, everyone's saved, he's back in the pet store with a hot dog, feeding it to the dogs. Now, that's a better introduction than just Batman finding Barry Allen's house and being weird. Now, after Steppenwolf finds each mother box, he reports back to Desaad. And, like, you kind of, like, feel bad for him, like, because he's just trying to get back in his master's good graces, and Desaad's like, come back when you find all three. Now, the way they communicate is, like, it's kind of like a melting mirror type thing, kind of like in Snow White and the Huntsman, the way the mirror would talk to the Queen and stuff. So now Mira is in the Snyder Cut, played by Amber Heard still. Now Steppenwolf goes to attack the Atlantean area where the mother box is being kept. Now when Steppenwolf attacks, Mira is there to stop Steppenwolf. Now because in Aquaman, she can, like, pull the liquid out of things, so she kind of does that to Steppenwolf's blood, so in a way it's kind of like bloodbending from Avatar, or The Legend of Korra. But it shows Mira as a formidable foe as well, so of course, she fails, Steppenwolf gets the second mother box, and this is what brings Aquaman into the fight. Now throughout the movie also, we get more into Cyborg's, like, character. He's mad at his father for not, like, paying attention to him. Like, he's basically part of a mother box now because he's, like, connected to the internet, hiding in the shadows still. And the way and Diana goes to meet him because they find on the internet because of what they're doing, so they still meet. But it's just done a whole lot better. Now also we've seen Cyborg fight. Since his body's a weapon, he, like, when he attracts danger, he gets, like, a full helmet that you see in the original trailer. So he's done a lot better, like I said. Now it's funny, back in the Flash scene, there's a truck that's about to crash has Gardner Fox on it. He, of course, wrote Green Lantern and the original Justice League comics in the 60s and the 40s and stuff. So that's a nice little nod. Now, we cut back to Lois Lane. She's still grieving over Superman, of course. And Diane Lane, Martha, goes to talk with Lois, and after the scene, Martha leaves, and it turns out her eyes start glowing, and it turns out she's the Martian Manhunter. So that was like a whole... Like, I had heard that Martian Manhunter was going to be in it, but it played by Harry Lennox, who played the General in Man of Steel. But that was kind of like a, oh my god, Martian Manhunter's in this. Because he was, of course, part of the original Justice League. Now, finally all the members are together. Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg, and they have to stop Steppenwolf from getting the next mother box. Now, Alfred has been working on, like, Kryptonian-proof, like, gauntlets for Batman that actually will protect him, and that way he can actually fight super-powered beings and not be destroyed because he's a human. So now, also, Steppenwolf can smell mother box energy off of people, so that's how he ends up kidnapping Silas Stone and how he's able to get closer to like the Kryptonian ship from Man of Steel, where they made Doomsday and stuff. So that's how it connects all together. Now I think now since this movie is kind of broken up into parts, some people chose to watch it in parts. I watched it all in one sitting because I had the time, and I really didn't feel like dragging. Like the pacing was good. Here or there was some issues, but you could probably watch it in one sitting and be fine, especially with longer comic book movies and movies in general. Now, Cyborg still kind of attempts humor, and it's a little weird still, but it's still not as bad as the theatrical cut. I know I keep making references to that. Now, there's a scene in Gotham where Commissioner Gordon resets up the bat signal, and all the people meet before they go fight Steppenwolf for the first time. And Commissioner Gordon, played by J.K. Simmons, actually has like the correct looking hair and stuff. Now, they end up going to like an underground sewer area because people were being kidnapped. So the 5 heroes go and fight. And the Wonder Woman scenes are good. There's no scene of like Flash falling on top of Wonder Woman. Cyborg can control this like tank thing that Batman has. Now Batman, since everyone else is like a superpowered being, he is kind of the weakest person, but he has enough to do. And they fight Steppenwolf and they lose because this is their first fight with Steppenwolf all together. And they realize they need something. They need Superman. Now, like I said before, a lot of these scenes are still mostly the same, but it's just the added backstory of Flash and Cyborg that adds more. There's less jokes. It just makes everything feel like there's weight to it and that people care. So now, of course, they want to resurrect Superman. Theatrical cut, this kind of felt like the most important scene, but so now they have to electrocute the mother box as they drop it into this ooze that they made Doomsday with originally. So Flash has to start and run and touch it with a bolt of lightning. So now they try this, and actually they miss the first time. And Flash ends up running so fast that he actually rewinds time briefly to do it. Now Flash talks about he has this rule about not rewinding time. This is of course a reference to Flashpoint. So it makes Flash important because he can do more. So Superman's resurrected. They have that whole scene in the courtyard where he fights everybody and then Lois helps him remember. That's still the same. So now they have to find what Steppenwolf's chamber is and the third mother box. And now it's in Russia, near Chernobyl. Now we see another clip of Darkseid fighting. We see his Omega beams, finally, which is really cool. And Batman's gauntlets help protect against Superman's heat vision, which is good. Now, later, when Superman's ready and he talks to Lois like before, he goes back to the Kryptonian ship. Now he sees his father talk, Russell Crowe, Jor-El, and he sees a couple of suits. You see the regular blue and red suit, and then you see the all-black suit. So he picks the black suit, which of course in the Death of Superman comic book, when he came back to life, he had that suit. So we get to see the black suit, which now at this point, Steppenwolf has found the 2 mother boxes. They're looking for the third one. That's the one that's in the Star Labs area. So try to go stop this also while they're resurrecting Superman. So after this, Silas Stone sacrifices himself because earlier he left a message about, like, since you're part of a mother box, you're more powerful, but also as a father, like, I'm proud of you, I'm sorry. So, like I said, it gives Cyborg more reason to do things. He ends up sacrificing himself so that Steppenwolf doesn't get the mother box, so that makes Cyborg really upset. Wants revenge, of course. So now Batman is still getting these weird glimpses. So we see Lois is apparently dead. There's an evil Superman being controlled by Darkseid, because that happens a lot in the comics. That's where we see Darkseid's Omega beams. So that's the future that we're trying to stop. That's the nightmare world that was kind of set up in Batman vs. Superman, but it has more context. And it all makes sense more, like Lois is the key, because losing Lois would drive Superman crazy. Flash we've established now that Flash can go back in time, but he doesn't do it unless it's really important, so Flash going back in time to stop Lois from being killed would undo the whole nightmare world, so all these dream sequences have more of a context now and it makes more sense. Even though it's still weird that they're dreams, but whatever. So now everyone goes to Russia and they prepare for the final fight. Now, I'm going to reference the theatrical cut one more time. Originally, when they bring back Superman, he's the most powerful. Flash, end up going to save some Russian family because there's nothing else for anyone to do while Superman's alive. But, so Cyborg needs to interface with all the mother boxes to stop them from connecting. Superman is there to kind of distract Steppenwolf along with Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Batman is just kind of shooting parademons because he's the weakest one. So it's kind of funny. It makes Batman like the least important person, even though he wasn't the most important before. But he's there to help how he can. He's still got those gauntlets that he made, so he's protected against that kind of energy. So Superman finally shows up in a black suit as Steppenwolf's about to hit Cyborg, controlling the mother boxes, and Superman's like not impressed, and he uses his ice breath to take Steppenwolf's weapon. So Superman's fighting Steppenwolf along with Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Flash has to like run fast enough so that way Cyborg can interface with the mother boxes. He needs a bolt of lightning to do that, so he has to run really fast again. Now, what's interesting is also opening the mother boxes will create they're opening a portal to Apocalypse so Darkseid can come and conquer Earth and stuff. So, as this is happening, the Flash doesn't get there in time, and the mother boxes explode, killing everybody. And we hear Barry and the Speed Force talking about, like, Justice Once. So Barry Allen rewinds time to fix everything. So Superman is now not the most important thing just because he's super strong. And it makes Barry Allen important because the Flash can run fast enough to travel through time. So they kill Steppenwolf and they close the portal to Apocalypse. And actually, this now makes the Superman being resurrected scene less important, and it makes Superman just another leveled player along with Aquaman and Wonder Woman. So it's not just everyone relying on Superman to save the day. It's Flash and Cyborg are equally important here. They destroy the mother boxes, and but Darkseid still remembers now that the anti-life equation is on Earth, so he's going to come back at some point. And they show the 6 heroes standing looking in the horizon, and then the movie ends. So we get a couple of credit scenes. But now we cut to the nightmare future. First we see the credit scene with Deathstroke meeting Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor knows who the Batman is, and it's Joe Manganiello playing Deathstroke still, and Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor. So that sets up a future Batman movie. And we cut to another scene where Batman's in his house. It's clearly been shot currently because he looks different. And Martian Manhunter reveals himself to Batman and like, I'll help you with future stuff. Like, there's a fight coming and whatever, because I know I'm a Martian and I know Darkseid. I'm like, why didn't he help during this? That doesn't make sense. They could have used Martian Manhunter, because he's telepathic, he can fly, he's super strong. But we cut to the nightmare future. So it's, of course, Darkseid is controlling Superman, who's evil. They have to fix this future. So we see Batman Deathstroke, Mira, Flash with that weird like suit where his face can open, and they talk about needing someone else's help, and we see Jared Leto's Joker. Now he has regular long hair, and him and Batman talk. They talk about how Harley died. Joker talks about how he killed his Robin. So this sets up like the nightmare stuff and sets up the reason the Flash goes back in time and or the dream sequences to warn Batman to fix everything. Now this, while it was interesting, since they are still technically dreams and not actual like stuff happening, it doesn't fully make sense. Like, it's cool to set that up. They should just have that, like, oh, something didn't go wrong, or another timeline because there's a multiverse. This didn't work, so we got to go back in time and make sure Lois stays alive. So this is still a dream also, as Ben Affleck, Bruce Wayne, wakes up and then he meets Martian Manhunter. And then the movie ends. So overall, the Snyder cut is a lot better, of course, than the theatrical cut. It made all the characters feel important, especially Flash and Cyborg. The movie didn't feel like 4 hours. Now it felt like 3 hours, let's say. It adds Martian Manhunter. It makes Steppenwolf better. It's just an overall better movie. I'm glad we got to see Zack Snyder's vision, and it really shows how studios interfere with movies. Now, Warner Brothers is really against continuing the Snyderverse, even though even like Dwayne Johnson for Black Adam wants it, other actors want it. Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg, only wants to be part of more Justice League if Zack Snyder's involved. And just put it on HBO Max. Like, I don't know why Warner Brothers is so against it. Like, the Snyder Cut's doing well. I don't know, but it is a better movie. It still has some issues, I guess. Like, there's a lot of action at the end and loud stuff, but it adds a lot more characters, and it spaces out the fights with character development and talking scenes. Like, so it makes the action scenes feel more like warranted and wanted. It's not like, oh, action scene, action scene. And yeah, I would rate this, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 burgers. Because, like I said, it still feels a little long in the end. That Wonder Woman scene in the beginning looks horrible. And it's like, why wasn't Martian Manhunter helping the Justice League? So, check out the Snyder Cut of Justice League. It's on HBO Max. There's also a black and white version now. I don't know how that adds to anything, but check it out. You'll enjoy it if you hated the theatrical version of Justice League. And it's nice that we finally got to see the true vision of this movie. I'm Scott Berger, and I'll see you next time.